More disruptions are expected for WestJet passengers this week as the airline works to get back to business as usual following a strike by its mechanics union. And WestJet has said that it's going to take time to fully resume operations and further cancellations will be required. Its planes are parked at 13 airports across Canada, and in many cases, crews need to be transported to the aircraft for retrieval. A tentative deal was reached late Sunday to end the walkout that began on Friday. It forced WestJet to cancel hundreds of flights, and it disrupted the travel plans of tens of thousands of customers. Gabor Lukic is the president of Air Passenger Rights, and he joins us live with more on the WestJet disruptions. Gabor, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so WestJet had 180 planes. 130 of those planes were parked. So we have to talk about logistics and how does this trickle down effect happen until everything gets back online?
Well, WestJet here made some very poor decisions. First, it mishandled its labor force, forcing a strike that could have easily been avoided by just agreeing to the same deal that they agreed to on a Sunday night, maybe on Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon. Second, and perhaps more importantly, WestJet made some operational decisions where and how to park its aircraft, which they should have taken into account what it is going to take to restart the airline once the strike is over. So I advise passengers to at least give a 24-hour slack to WestJet. We understand that they need a little bit of lead-in time, but now we are talking about 36 hours after the strike was over. WestJet is fully expected to operate, and any cancellation happening now is no longer caused by any labor disruption. It's caused by WestJet's own operational decisions, its own inaptitude to manage its labor force, manage its affairs.
Okay, so Gabor, let's say I have a flight coming up tomorrow morning on WestJet. I receive a notification that the flight's not going to happen. What do I do? What am I entitled to? Do I still go to the airport and see the ticket agent? Do I call them?
In such a situation, you are entitled to meals, accommodation, and rebooking on one of WestJet's flights or its partner's flights that departs within 9 hours from your original departure time, failing which WestJet is required to buy you a ticket on a competitor airline. If WestJet is essentially displaying radio silence, not reachable on the phone, not providing you an alternate itinerary that meets these requirements, then I would go ahead and take things into my own hands, buy a ticket on a different airline, and then make WestJet pay for it, as well as pay for compensation, which in this case, we're talking now, after the strike is over, about cancellations which are fully within the carrier's control and not required for safety reasons. So WestJet owes also a lump sum compensation up to $1,000 per passenger in cash for each of those cancellations.
Okay, so Gabor, let me get this straight. I have my flight coming up. I know that WestJet is not going to be able to get me there. It's important that I get to my destination. So should I cancel my flight on WestJet and then rebook, or just let my ticket as it stands on WestJet stay, rebook on a different airline, and then try to get the money back from WestJet?
Excellent question. I would never ask for a refund or communicate anything to the extent that I'm seeking a refund to WestJet, because if you do that, then it allows WestJet to wash its hands from your further expenses. What I would do is document my efforts to communicate with WestJet, document my efforts to demand to seek rebooking in accordance with the law, including on competitor airlines from WestJet. And if WestJet is not being responsive, cannot be reached, saying no, then I would just go ahead and buy a ticket on a different airline. I would not cancel or do anything with the existing booking, then travel. Then once I get home, send a professional business style letter to WestJet saying you failed to comply with your legal obligations under the contract of carriage and the APPR. I incurred amounts, out-of-pocket expense in amount X. You have now 30 days to repay me that amount, or else I will take you to court. And if they don't pay or don't respond within 30 days, I would simply serve WestJet with small claims court papers and get a judge order WestJet to pay what they have to pay.
Okay, Gabor Lukic, president of Air Passenger Rights. Thanks for the advice.
Thank you very much for having me.